It's 5 o'clock and I have not recorded a single thing today. I woke up with a sore throat, runny nose, fever, all the good fun stuff. And, just kind of ended up spending the rest of the day kind of sleeping and working off and on. Actually got quite a bit done. I was a little surprised because when I first woke up, I thought there was no way I was getting anything done. But once I kind of got up and showered and went to the doctor, I was kind of awake enough to get some stuff done. I did a couple meetings, slept a little bit, then woke up, did another few tasks, and then slept a little bit more and did some more tasks. And so yeah, it's been a more productive day than I thought it would be when I woke up, but still not a great day from a productivity standpoint and from just a health standpoint. I don't feel that great. So it's Monday, so I have to go pick up Brody and take him to soccer. I also have to pick up the girls because it's my day. And then I have to coach soccer, which, yeah. Based on the way I feel right now, I almost wanted to cancel practice, but at the same time, we haven't had a game yet. The first game was rained out. The second game was a bye. We have our third game that will now be our first game coming up this Saturday, and I just feel like as many real practices we can get in, the better. So I felt like canceling would be a disservice to the boys. I actually got a couple emails this week based on my Q&A last week, so I have some more questions for Q&A this week, so we'll do Q&A, right? Let's see what we got. Did you like school? No, I didn't. I really didn't. It wasn't that I didn't like the people or I didn't like my professors, because I had some great professors and I had a ton of great classmates, whether it was high school or college. My problem and where I struggle was being interested. And it wasn't that I didn't want to learn it, I just wasn't sure how it applied to my life. And high school I can understand, that's just high school. I feel like that's just kind of what you have to deal with. But when you're in college and you're taking these classes and you're thinking to yourself, how am I going to use this in my real life? I don't think I'm going to use this in my real life. And you're paying a lot of money and you don't feel like you're getting a lot out of it. And maybe it was the school. I don't think it was the school. I think the school is a pretty good institution and it has a pretty good successful graduation rate and employment rate and all that. So I don't know. I didn't like school, and there's a bunch of different reasons why. Most of which are probably not that valid. I never felt challenged. I think that was my biggest issue. I didn't feel challenged. I always felt I had to look elsewhere. Yeah, so no, I didn't. But I did it. I think that's the biggest point, is I hated it, but it's done. I got my high school education. I got my college education. I have a degree. I have a bachelor's degree. I did it. So, what's your excuse? Next question is Mac or PC? Mac. Android or Apple? Apple. But not for the same reason I choose Mac over PC. I used Android. Android's great, don't get me wrong. It's more of I've developed apps for both Android and Apple. Just on principle, I can't use Android because they're a pain in the ass. If I'm being totally real, it's a pain in the ass to develop for Android. And why, might you ask? It's not that the SDK is any more difficult or the language is any more difficult. They're fine. It's Java and they have a great platform. They do. It's not about the platform. Google Play works well. It's easy to upload files. It's easy to, update and track and make sure everything's working correctly. To give you a general sense, when I upload an Apple device, I know that it has to work on, give or take, 45 different devices right now, technically. And those devices, for the most part, are within a couple versions of the most current. Switch to Android, and you're talking over 5,000 the last time I uploaded an Android app, which was a long time ago. The crevasse between the newest and the oldest, when it comes to their current operating system, is huge. It's getting better, and it's gotten a lot better, but it's still large. And you will get all these people on these terrible Android phones that some random vendor created and threw Android in it, and people will be like, why isn't your app working? You'll have to deal with all of this nonsense because there's just so many variations of Android and phones that support Android that it's a pain in the butt. So on principle, I don't use Android. Tabs or spaces? That's a developer. Tabs or spaces. The important thing is whatever the team is doing as a whole is what the team should do. I don't really care which one you use, and personally I don't have a preference. What I do have a problem with is when one developer uses tabs, the other uses spaces, and I'm trying to look at their code, and I have to like switch back and forth because it's like, oh well, this developer uses tabs, this one uses spaces, and it gets all jacked up in my editor. Pick one as a team, stick with it. Favorite type of music? That's a tough one because I like a ton. I have everywhere from Frank Sinatra to Nine Inch Nails to Kendrick Lamar. I like a wide array of music. So, all. Do you have a nickname? I have a few. Some are used by some friends, some are used by other friends. My name is Jason Sullivan. Some people call me Sully. Some people call me Soul. Some people call me Soul Dog. Some people call me Jay, Jace, J Dog. Like, there's a lot of different nicknames I have. I'll answer to pretty much any of them. I don't have a preference. If you're my friend, call me pretty much whatever you want as long as it's nice. Cats or dogs? No cats. No cats. It's my favorite TV show. Again, that's tough. Not because I watch so many different shows, but because I don't watch much TV in general. The ones that I kind of got into a little bit were Robin Big and Fantasy Factory, which was another Rob Dyrdek production. And then Natural Circus. I really enjoyed what those guys were doing. But beyond that, very much. What's your favorite kind of sandwich? That is a fantastic question. So in the immediate right now is probably the Jimmy John's veggie. I hate to say it, and I hate to give promotion to Jimmy John's, but that's my go-to. If I forget lunch or I'm in a bind and I need some lunch, if I get the Jimmy John's veggie, the calorie content's a little high, but it's not terrible compared to the rest of the sandwiches, and it's a nice, healthy option. It tastes pretty good because it's got that avocado spread, which is legit. But if you were to ask me all-time favorite, it's actually really, really ridiculously simple. It is roast beef on a Kaiser roll with a little bit of lettuce and a little bit of regular mustard. It reminds me of the deli I used to work at when I was a kid. We had so much fun. I missed that place so much. They closed down the year my brother died in 2012. And, it's just the people that came in, Mike, the owner, and who also used to work there. I still stay in touch with all those people, but just that atmosphere. I've been going there since I was 9 years old. So I've been going there for the better part of 20 years. So it's like, when that closed, it was that was the beginning of pretty much the shittiest year of my life. That sandwich, the roast beef, lettuce, mustard on a Kaiser roll, will always be one of my favorites. What did you want to be when you were a kid? Good question. Marine biologist. Yep, a marine biologist. The only problem with that was I thought all marine biologists swam with dolphins and killer whales and stuff like that. That's not the case. Actually, very few do that. Most of them deal with currents, ocean topography, all things that revolve around the ocean and sea life and everything. Spend a lot of time on a boat, which is cool, but you don't get to spend that much time with animals, which is kind of where my head was at, I think, with the whole marine biologist. That's it. I think I'm going to wrap it on the Q&A. Great questions. Thank you, guys. I was surprised to see 4 or 5 questions in my email this week from last week, which is awesome. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, jason@techguydiy.com, or just leave a comment in the comment section too. That's a fine place to leave it. I'll check there too. Great questions, everybody. So that last question kind of made me think quite a bit about what I wanted to be when I was a kid. I think that was definitely what I wanted to be. And what I would say to all of you kids out there or adults that are like, oh, I want to do this when I grow up. Remember 2 things. 1, you're not stuck to that. 2, do your research as a kid. Ask questions. That way you don't go to college and figure out through spending a lot of money that this isn't really what I thought it was going to be.